Welcome to Collecting Chaos. My name is James. This is Swing with Scooter number 18. And I know that I said I was probably going to use a MacuClean on this, but I've kind of switched gears for two reasons. Number one, not everyone has a MacuClean. And number two, not everyone has the money to spend on MacuClean. So I'm going to go a little bit different route, but it's basically the same procedure. And it all will start after this. So stay tuned, because it could be a very informative video. And I'm back, and we're going to go over it one more time. That was actually pretty fortunate. I had to change the battery in my camera, so that worked out really well. I hope. Put a little bit more on it this time. And you can see where the damage and the creases are in the comic when you're doing this, because they show up real good once you get it a little damp. So, and again, got some dirt off of it. So, yeah. I'll be back once this dries. Okay, apparently it didn't work out quite as well as I had hoped to. I'm missing a whole segment where I introduce the agent that I'm using to clean the comic. What this is 2 or 3 drops of dish soap in water, in distilled water, and that's what I'm using. And I'm just, when I'm putting it on here, I just put enough to cover the center of the pad, and that's it. And then I go over the comic, as you saw in the last little segment I did. Unfortunately, the part where I introduce this, and I introduce the water, and I introduce the backing boards that I'm using to clean it, didn't come out. There was a problem with the video, or the little video card I have in the camera. It decided to lock on me, and there was no reason for that. So there you go. That's what it is. I am using 2 or 3 drops of Dawn dish soap, but you can use any type of dish soap, doesn't have to be Dawn, in 2 to 3 ounces of distilled water. Ionized water would be better, but it's a whole lot more expensive. And these little bottles like this, I picked these up at Dollar General or Walmart. I think this one was in the travel supplies over by where they keep the dish soaps, and or not dish soap, the hand soap and stuff like that. And this one, I believe I got at Dollar General in their little baking area. So there you go. This is dry. I've cleaned it twice with the soap. I'm going to go ahead and go over it with water. What we're doing, the reason we're using water on it is not to... We're not so much worried about cleaning dirt at this point as we are about getting the soap back off the comic. So, again, I use a whole lot more water when I do this. And I go over it very gently. I'm applying no pressure whatsoever. It's just whatever the pad is creating with the friction of the water. And this will take a little bit longer to dry. But as you can see, it is taking off both the soap and more dirt, and maybe a little bit of the yellow ink. I'm not too concerned with that. Now we're going to take another cotton round, and I'm not even going to wait for it to dry. I'm just going to go over it very gently, and what I'm doing is picking up the excess water. And you don't have to use circular motions. You don't even have to do this step if you don't want to. It's just something I do. Generally, it never picks up any dirt doing this. All it does is pick up a little bit of the excess water. See, no dirt at all. And I'll use that again. So got to let this dry, and then I'll do the back cover, and then I'll show you how I prep it for a press. I'm not going to show you the actual press or anything like that, because that's in another room, and that room is not set up for any type of video at all. So be right back. Alright, back again. We're going to flip this over. It's dry enough to work with. I'm going to take the backing board out of the front, put it in the back. And we're going to start working on the back side. Again, couple 2 or 3 drops of dish soap in a 2 to 3 ounce bottle. Just enough to get the middle of the pad wet, and then we will start going over it just like this, exactly the same way that I would do it if I was using a MacuClean. It's not quite as good as a MacuClean is doing it this way, but it is a way that it can be done, and it can be done very economically this way. Not as much dirt came off the back, but we did get some, so that's always a good thing. I did spend a little more time cleaning the back, and I will go over it again with the dish soap and then with the water, and we'll see what that looks like. And then we're going to give it a press. And I'm back again. Here we go. Same thing again that I did just a few minutes ago. Well, actually, it's been about 30 minutes ago. I'm actually using a little more of the soap this time than what I did last time. That wasn't intentional, it's just the way it worked out. Didn't pay enough attention. So, gotta let that dry. That's going to take a while. But I'll go ahead and explain why I'm going to press it twice, once cold and once hot. And the cold press is going to last, I'm only going to do it for about 4 hours. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it in half. And these are little cut-offs from backing boards. And what I do is I make my own backing boards for Silver Age comics. I take treasury size backing boards because they're less expensive. You can buy 100 treasury size backing boards for less than you can buy 200 Silver Age backing boards. But here's the thing. You cut a treasury size backing board off in half, you trim off a little bit of the top, and you got 200 Silver Age backing boards for about 3/4 of what, well, actually, for just a little over what 100 backing boards would cost if you bought the regular Silver Age backing boards. And this way I can trim them exactly to what I want. If I need a Golden Age, I can trim it to Golden Age size. So there you go. I'm going to use those. And of course I've got my little binder clips. I'll be using those as well when it comes to the time. Alright, that's reasonably dry. Let's go ahead and get this done. Get the water on it. And we're going to go ahead and clean off that soap I put on there a little while ago. You have to be very gentle when you're doing any of this stuff. Even though I'm just getting the page damp, wet paper is weak paper. So you always have to be super careful doing this sort of thing. Almost no dirt came off at all that time, which means most of the dirt that's going to come off has come off. I'm going to go ahead and use a regular and just take off any excess moisture that's on there. And this is not a necessary step, but it does make it dry a little quicker. And I'll be right back. Alright, it's all dry. We're going to take this out. We're going to take this out. We're going to even up the edges. I'm going to put this here like this. I have those edges nice and even. Put a little clamp on it. Go to the other side. I don't like spine rolls. I have never liked spine rolls. One of the first repairs I ever did to a comic was repair a spine, or attempt to repair a spine roll, and I did pretty good at it. I did that back in the 70s. So that tells you how long I have disliked spine rolls. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and put it in my press after I get it like that. I'm going to put this in my press, cold press it for about 4 or 5 hours, and then I'll bring it back out and show you, and then we'll prep it for a regular hot press, where I'll actually attempt to get all of the other problems out. So that's what I'm going to do next, and I'll be back in about 4 or 5 hours. For you, it'll be about 15 seconds. Nope. You missed the whole thing. I forgot to turn the camera on. Yeah, it turned out pretty good. I got to take all this stuff out of it again. As you can see, there's no more spine roll. I'm happy with that. Let's open it to the back cover. Put in a piece of copy paper. Go to the center of the comic. Put in a piece of copy paper. Two backing boards. Another sheet of copy paper. Now, if you have like a Mark Jewelers variant that you're trying to press, number one, you're going to have to take all the gum off of it. And number two, you want to put a piece of copy paper between each of the shiny pages and the comic. And then one more piece of copy paper there in the front. I'll steam it. I'll press it at about 165 degrees for 5 to 10 minutes. Probably with this one I'm going to go 10. And then I will turn off the press and I'll just let it sit for however long it takes for the comic to cool down. For the press to completely cool down to room temperature. Then I will take it out and show you what's next. Well, this is it. It's time to take a look at the comic. I just took it out of the press. It's 8-9 hours later. So let's see what it looks like. It's really flat. Take these out. This is all part of my process. You get a piece of interleave paper. The interleave paper I'm using is available through Mipit. I'm not sponsored, I'm not affiliated, it's just what I happen to have on hand that I use. And it's easier than buying interleave paper in bulk and cutting it to size. I don't mind that it's a little bit smaller. That's okay. I always put it in the center of the book. There you go. There it is. Let's take a moment to look at the front and back of take a look at the front and back of what it looked like originally and what it looks like now. I guess now there's only one thing left to do. And that's to take it and place it in a Mylar. So it can become part of my permanent collection. There you go. That's it for this video. I hope for those of you that stayed all the way through to the end that you enjoyed it. Maybe you learned a little something along the way. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you just used it as background noise. That's fine. If you enjoyed it, I ask that you go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Recommend it to some other people. And if you didn't like it, well, give it a thumbs down and let me know in the comments why you didn't like it. Maybe I can do something to make it better in the future. In the meantime, everybody, have yourself a wonderful day. And don't forget, before you handle your comics or your cards, toys, whatever you happen to be into, make sure that you wash your hands. Because it's good for your comics, but most importantly, it's good for your health. And we will see you next video. Now, actually, we'll see you tonight on Horizon Picks channel, where I'll be selling some of my comics. Bye.